Coach's game plan. How do you like my avatar? I just thought this was kind of fun. Anyway, team, let's break down our game plan and why we're doing what we're doing. So, as one of our most potent tools in our toolbox, we are continuing to focus on boosting awareness, especially when it comes to those sneaky saboteurs lurking on around in our minds. You know the inner voice, the one that loves to trip us up and get us stuck into an old pattern. Yeah, that one, that voice. By shining a light on that inner critic, and understanding that this is part of our survival mechanism. Our amygdala, that little nugget in our brain that's responsible for fight or flight responses, it loves to keep us cozy and safe in familiar territory, even if what it's doing is no longer serving us. So we're diving into the science behind why we sometimes shoot ourselves in the foot by holding on to old patterns. Surviving is the biggest focus of this part of our brain. And when we try to change, our amygdala fears that we may not survive whatever this new thing is, this change. If what we've been used to suffering with, like anxiety or struggling with interpersonal conflict or worrying ourselves sick, our amygdala associates the suffering behavior is somehow linked to surviving. And so it reasons that if we were to stop that suffering behavior, we might not survive because every time we've survived, that thing has been there. So this part of our brain does not like the unknown. It does not like the unknown, and it will want to bring up our saboteur types. This awareness can help us to know when we feel like quitting something, when we feel like something isn't going to work for us, that this is normal. This is normal. And it's a good part of us because it's the part that wants us to survive. So we've also kicked things off with our cognitive behavioral therapy type exercise. And this one is inspired more by Brooke Castillo's work with her Self-Coaching 101. It's all about understanding the spin cycle of our thoughts, how they loop around and around. And when we can map it out and find our place of power, we can break free from this cycle when we choose to. This cycle that is the loudest, we're talking about turning off the noise. Spin cycle is the loudest of the cycles in our washing machine, and it draws the most energy. Well, the same thing in our lives. When we're in spin cycle, it takes so much of our energy, all of our focus, and it's so loud we can't hear ourselves think. So this worksheet really shows us, it highlights that we have a choice about what we believe. We're learning how to reframe our thoughts or what we make something mean. This is some more NLP for us too. It's like we can reverse engineer our mindset so that we can choose how we want to feel by choosing our thoughts, choosing what we do with our thoughts. This is really powerful stuff. We're going to practice this again with the CBT worksheet in a few weeks. This tool is probably the most underestimated for its value. This tool alone could almost completely transform those sleepless nights of worry. This one tool alone could probably affect those panic attacks, like when we feel like we're never going to get through something or something's never going to work out. And the never-ending nightmare of worst case scenario videos that flash through our heads on repeat. Just like anything though, this tool will only work if we choose to use it. And so you are always free to choose to use it or not. You don't have to use it, but if you wanted to stand in a place of power, this is one of those tools that you would use, is to decide what you do with those thoughts. Okay, so this week our main focus is on learning about judgment. Again, it's this little voice in our heads that loves to critique everything we do. Yeah, that one. We're not letting it rain on our parade. In the deep diving coaching exercise that we did during our session, we discovered that even that critical voice has a good intention for us. Even though it would seem that criticism is out to get us, when we do some deep excavating, we go deeper, we discover that this part of us actually really wants good things for us. And it knows that we deserve better. So once we realize this, it kind of just sets us free from that judgment, from that critical voice. We might begin to recognize that we really do live in a friendly universe where everything is always happening for us, not to us. Even our critical voice is trying to help us. There is nothing wrong with us. At the bottom of the critical judgment is this love for us. It just wants more. So when we know that we are loved, that everything is for us, even the critical voice, then we are free to realize that we are not stuck. We only get stuck when we choose to believe a thought that there is something wrong with us, with who we are. So yes, even that critical voice means well. Even our critical voice wants better for us. What are we going to choose? Are we going to choose to hear the critical voice? Are we going to choose to hear the intention behind it or the truth? So that our place of power in that other exercise, this has everything, like these are all interconnected. That place of power is our power of choice. What am I going to choose to think? What am I going to choose to believe? Because how I think creates my feelings creates my action creates results, and then I have a thought about my results and it starts the whole cycle. What thought do I want to align with? What if we choose to cherish, celebrate, treasure, bet on, vote for, and love ourselves? What might that do for you? So there you have it, team. We're boosting awareness, outsmarting our amygdalas, reframing our thoughts, and showing judgment. Who's boss? Because once we recognize that it wants good, then we just take control again. And this is all in the name of becoming the best version of ourselves, fearlessly confident. As we get into these heavier sessions, please know that you can always book a supplementary private session with me if you want to. And I'm also going to include another tool that you might find helps. This tool is one of my favorite ways of coping with interpersonal stresses, and it can be really good for helping to forgive yourself. It's the Ho'oponopono prayer, ancient Hawaiian prayer. I will do a whole separate video on that. It's completely, you just choose if that sounds like it might work for you. But here's the thing, you've got this. No matter what it is, you've got this. There's nothing wrong with you.